Welcome
to the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 148 of The Joy of Coding. My name's Mike Conley. It's September 5th, 2018, and I'm back. It's been a little while. Once again, took a little bit of a break, 2 weeks off for various reasons at the end of the summer, but I'm back. Hopefully that doesn't happen again too soon. Winter holidays will happen, but I don't think I'll be taking too many Wednesdays off in the future. But we'll see. I'll do my best. What are we up to today? Well, first of all, hello. Good to see you again. Let's take a look at what's on the agenda. So, reminder, no plan survives breakfast. It's episode 148. Who knows what's going to happen? If you're new to the Joy of Coding, the way this works is I'm just going to be hacking on some Firefox stuff, and I don't know how it's going to go. Like today I'm actually going to be starting a bug from scratch. I haven't even reproduced it, so I don't even know if it's still a bug. And we'll see where we get with it, but you'll be with me right from the very start, and we'll see where we get. My instincts tell me it's going to be a sweetheart of a bug and that we might even come to a resolution today, but we'll see. The other thing I want to point out is this agenda is something that you have access to. So if you're watching this on the new Air Mozilla, check out the handouts section, which is on one part of the page. So I don't know, this way, I think. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's in the video description down here. Woo. This way, that way. If you're watching this on Twitch, well, for folks on Twitch, I have to share it in the Twitch chat. So I'm going to do that right now. Here's the link to the agenda in the Twitch chat. There's also a link to rate the episode. If you watch this episode to completion and you liked it, you didn't like it, you had some ideas on how I can improve it, that sort of thing, let me know. That link is also, it's here in the agenda. It's all in the same places that I just mentioned. I'll also drop it into the Twitch chat. I also want to point out that there is an episode guide. We have an episode guide, and you should check it out. It's got, I think, all of the episodes up to 147. The episode guide is completely viewer-driven. I don't think I've written much more than this couple of paragraphs here. Viewers just like you have been contributing episode guides and little snippets of information about each episode. So let's look at episode 147. There's just a breakdown of the sort of topics I covered and some ideas for episode 150 and, links to various things. And you can contribute your own episode guides, or you can alter the episode guides by sending me a pull request. And if you're not sure what that is, you can go to the repo where there is now a contributing guide in the repository. So there's a link in the agenda here to the repo, and you click on contribute, and there's a handy guide from one of our contributors, Nicholas Bowman, aka Smurf D, who has graciously written this guide on how you can send pull requests my way. And if that's not doing it for you, there's also another guide here in the agenda that Smurf D also uses and recommends. And I think that's all I'm going to say about the episode guide. I'm actually going to remove the adzo bit. I feel like I'm really behind on the auto transcription I was doing, and I need to catch up. Maybe I'll do that in the future, but for now I'm just going to stop removing that bullet because I stopped talking about it, and maybe I'll get back to it. So a quick self-check. Is everything working? Yes, you can hear me. I can see in the VU meter here. I got sounds. That's all good. I'm recording. Fantastic. So this is the bug that I'm hoping to work on. That's definitely the wrong bug number. Bug 1480951. Forgetting a 1 there. Cleared session storage is resurrected when reopening Firefox. So what's this all about? So there's a really great bug report. This is a textbook. This is like an excellent bug report. If you're ever filing a bug and you want to know what a good bug report looks like, this is a really great bug report from Caleb.Miller, who's new to Bugzilla, filed this a month ago, and it's great. Writes to the user agent, some really clear steps to reproduce, the expected results, the actual results, revision range where it happened, a demo on how you can reproduce it, and then it's like we can immediately start working with this. It's great. Alice0775 White jumps in with a regression window. Apparently, a contributor, a previous employee, Gabor, I never knew how to pronounce his last name, but I reviewed his patch here, and apparently this patch is what broke things, which is a session store patch. So we might be looking at that, but because my name was on the reviewer list, I'm kind of on the hook to look at this. So I said yesterday that I'd take a look. So what's the bug? Well, there's this API, which you may or may not be familiar with, called, what's with the glitchy? Are you seeing this? I just updated Nightly. I have a feeling there's a bit of a graphics bug in Nightly. That might be a problem. Well, let me use my local build then of Mozilla Central. It's been a while since Nightly glitched out on me like that. So let's use my kind of glitchy version. I gotta undo some stuff. Hold on. Let me pop some patches off. So we're looking at a normal Firefox here. So I'm checking out Central. I'll quickly build faster. Let me pump up the font a little so you can see what I'm doing. And then I am going to run. Oh, someone's saying something in the Twitch chat. Tomato Shadow asks, hey, Mike, when Firefox Color's test pilot experiment ends, do you know if I would lose my theme? You might. What would be great, though, because if you look at, so what Tomato Shadow is asking about is this. I don't know if you noticed this, my theme here is a bunch of different blues, and I'm using this add-on that you can get yourself at testpilot.firefox.com called Color, which allows you to easily alter the theme. So I could, for example, set my background to be red now or something, and then you can share the theme. So the thing to note is that the theme is only stored in this this whatever this is. This is some kind of special representation, and I don't know what it is, but we can probably figure it out. What I would recommend would you lose it? Probably not, Tomato Shadow. What I recommend you do is this. If you're worried about losing your theme, make sure you've got this information somewhere, because almost certainly there's a way of turning this back into information that you can turn into a web extension theme. Because all Firefox Color is doing is using the web extension API, theming API, to set colors. So all of the capabilities that Color has, web extensions have too. Web extension theme has too. It's just that Color is making it easy to use a website to alter the values in real time and share that information. So there's some kind of representation here of that information. I thought maybe it'd be like a data URI, but I don't know. I don't know what this is. Let's see if it's a data URI. I doubt it is though. Text, JSON, doesn't, no, I don't think so. But we could quickly take a look at the source and see what it does with the information. I'm gonna make this really fast because I want to work on this bug. But Color. So the get value is theme. So we're gonna quickly see if we can find how it reads that value and what it does with it. So there's a bunch of React, query string. So it gets the search, params from add-on first run, params if not params theme, else received shared theme, it decodes the theme. So that's what I want to look at, URL decode theme. It's using JSON codec decompressed theme string. So there's this thing called JSON codec, which is LZMA. It's an LZMA compressor. Decompressor. Let's see if I can find some way of decompressing this. Wait, hold on. What's it called? JSON codec. JSON URL. What is JSON URL? LZMA decompress. Press WebAssembly. Some way. Yeah, LZMA.js. So we've got, is there like a demo? Some kind of demo here. So we're doing LZMA compression and decompression. Is there a good demo? JS demo. Here we go, advanced demo. So let's put the value that was in here for me. I'm going to put that in here and I'm going to decompress it. Invalid. Invalid. Well, maybe the website itself can do it. Like, do I have like JSON codec? No, JSON. So hard to do this. LZMA. Let JSON codec equal that. Codec. Okay, I got this thing. Now I'm going to do decompress. I'm going to do that. I've got this object. I don't know what that thing is. It's so flashy. What is happening? Oh, graphics. Okay, so I'm seeing an object and some colors, a V. So there's this, yeah, it's just a collection of properties and color values. And so we can use that. And all these properties are just things that the web extension theme API exposes anyways. Wow, that was really flashy. I hope no one here is sensitive to flashing lights and colors, because that was mind-blowing. Yeah, graphics are crazy buggy for me today in DevTools. I don't know why it's DevTools, just like brah, brah, brah. I might want to file that. I'll do it later. To do file bug. File a bug for how crazy DevTools was today graphically. Super flashy. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly put in a note here. Went over how Firefox color compresses some JS object into a string with lzma.js, and we decompressed it. Themes can be decompressed and turned into a web extension theme. Here's the good thing. Oh wait, how do I set the gray padlock to say not secure as you have it? So you'll also note that I've got this like not secure up here. I've turned on this thing in about config. If you go to SSL, what was it? Insecure. Yeah, security.insecure connection icon enabled. So I've got two things here. And so the question is insecure HTTP padlock and label. Flip these prefs. Boom. And this one. Boom. And I don't think you need a restart. I think you can flip them right away and it just works. I could be wrong, but I think it should just work. Okay, so I think things can be decompressed, turned into a web extension theme. And I'll tell you what, Tomato Shadow, if at the end of all of this, if you save that string, your theme, and this goes for anyone out here watching as well, and at the end of the Firefox color experiment, a migration path to turn those strings into real web extension themes hasn't been written, I will write it. I will write it for you. And I think it'd be a piece of cake. We could even do it on a Joy of Coding episode. So I will write it. So we'll see what happens. The Firefox color experiment is still ongoing, and we'll see what happens. So let's get back to the bug. We got a little off track there, but let's get back to the bug. So we have this API. Let me run my now built Firefox. Hey, no problem, Tomato Shadow. Tomato Shadow just said thank you. So I want to show you hopefully a not buggy DevTools. Yeah, that's better. And I'm going to show you this session storage API. So there's this thing, session storage. It's available on the window global. And there is an API for it's like this is a web API. And session storage allows you to like have a key value store that like survives for the browser session. So even if I close a tab and I think reopen it, if it's at the same place, it can still access the session storage. But once the browser is closed, that information I think is supposed to go away. Data store and session storage gets cleared when the page session ends, as long as the browser is open and survives over page reloads and restores. And so if I were to set on this site here, cbc.say session storage.set item mconley will hopefully fix this. And then we look at session storage. We've got an mconley value there. Get item mconley will hopefully fix this. And then I go to like mozilla.org, and then I go back, and then I look at that mconley value again. It's still stored. And then if I restart the browser, let's restart the browser. It's still there. So that's the problem, is that like it still exists even though the browser restarted. And let me just double check that there's not some kind of like preference that one needs to flip for that, because that's not great. That's not working the way you'd think it should. So you stored cookie site data and currently using 707 megabytes disk space. Accept cookies and site data. Keep until I've got nightly is closed. I should have said they expire because I think that's the default. And what else? I'm going to quit the browser now instead of restarting it, because maybe that's a different behavior. And now I'm going to restart the browser. All right. Let's filter the output here. Let's not do warnings or CSS. All right. So it's still there. It didn't go away. Now here's that's a bug in itself. Here's another bug. If I clear session storage, it's gone. And then if I restart the browser, apparently the bug that this user is reporting is that the value is still there. Yeah, we'll hopefully fix this. So that's pretty bad. Let's see if we can figure out what's happening here. So session storage, we've got a pretty bad bug here. Let's start taking some notes. So this seems pretty bad. I think session storage is not supposed to last restarts or shutdowns. It's not supposed to survive restarts or shutdowns, but it appears to be doing so. just to compare, let's open up Safari and see what Safari does. So we'll go to the same website. And we'll open up their dev tools. Where's the console? Okay. So session storage dot set item M Conley is now checking Safari. Now let's get the item. Is now checking Safari. Okay. So now let's close the tab. And now let's reopen the tab. Or open a new tab. Open DevTools again. Session storage dot get item M Conley. Null. So it didn't even survive the page reload, which is interesting. Let's do a quick test or a quick bit of research here because I'm not super familiar with local storage. Maintains a separate storage area for each given origin that's available for duration of the page session as long as the browser is open, including page reloads and restores. Session storage API documentation. So that's one example. Let's take a look and see what other people say. Let's see what, yeah, web 3C session storage. The session storage attribute should not expire data from the browser's context session storage areas, but may do so when the user requests that such data is deleted, or when the UI detects it has limited storage space, or for security reasons. User agents should always avoid deleting data while a script could be accessing the data is running. When a top-level browsing context is destroyed and therefore permanently inaccessible to the user, the data stored in the session storage areas can be discarded with it, as the API described in the specification provides no way for the data to ever be subsequently retrieved. Check to see if the toggle has a session storage area for the document's origin. If it does, then that is a document's assigned session storage area. If it does not, a new storage area for the document's origin must be created, and then that is document's assigned session storage area. A document's assigned storage area does not change during the lifetime of a document. When a new top-level browsing context is created by cloning existing browsing context, the new browsing context must start with the same session storage area as the original, but the two sets must from that point on be considered separate. So it's a clone. When a new top-level browsing context is created by a script in an existing browser context or by the user following a link in an existing browser context, some other way related to a specific document, the creation is not a new start for session storage. So or the origin of the document must be copied to the new browser context from that point on. The two session storage areas are separate, so it's a clone again. So what are the use cases for session storage API use cases? What are the use cases? Code by Amir lists some use cases. Local storage, because like local storage I think is supposed to last for a while. The thing is, you're not supposed to really use local storage anymore because that does sync IO. How long should the data be kept? Until the user closes their window or tab. Use session storage. So I think we are not obeying that because we close the tab, we bring it back, and session storage still exists. So that's bad. Restarts or shutdowns or tab closures, but appears to be doing so. let's take a look and see how it used to work. Alice found a version of the browser where it did work. Firefox 61 to 63. Alice found a version. This regression window. This patch landed in 49. So let's try the nightly from the 22nd of May 2016. Moz regression. We're going to tell it to launch the 2016 May, what day? 22nd. So we're going to, this is a blast from the past. We're going to be looking at an old nightly, really old, Australis days. Sometimes when you run Moz regression, it just updates itself and quits. So you got to run it twice. It's very annoying. Alright, just running it. Whew. In the meantime, we can start poking around and see where session storage is implemented in the source. We should also take a look at what Gabor's patches did. So, session storage is probably defined in a WebIDL file. WebIDL is what we use to Windows session storage. Window implements Windows session storage. This is how we define the interfaces that are available to the DOM on the DOM. So there is something called session storage right here. Session storage manager and session storage. Clone, get length, key, get item, set item, remove item, and clear. Okay. Trying to run this old version of Firefox. It's taken a while. It hasn't launched yet. Maybe we'll try an earlier version. Let's try the 1st of May. What's the story there, and why is it taking so long? OBS is just taking a boatload of my CPU. So is Firefox. Holy smokes, what's going on? What is running? Oh, now it's gone way down. Whatever it was doing, I guess it's done. Oh, now a different Firefox is starting up. It's probably the one we just launched over here. So I guess we'll let that try and do its thing. In the meantime, session storage is this thing. There's a class here, but I don't know how we get it off the window. There's a session storage manager. Create storage. What calls that? Local storage, session storage manager. Aha, get session storage on the global window inner. That's what we're talking about here. So this is the thing that gets called when you call .session storage on a window. We get at the principal in the doc shell. We see if we already have an M session storage. And if not, we try and create one. We do that with the storage manager. All right. This Firefox just sitting here, the one I'm trying to boot, doing nothing. Let's sample it. What's it doing? Oh, we're inside like just loading the libraries, I think. Oh my goodness. I don't know if this is gonna work. I got a bad feeling about this, but we'll see. Okay. So we get this thing and we return it, and that thing got changed by Gabor here. So what was Gabor doing? In this bug, I think if I remember correctly, he was trying to shrink session store update messages. And what he's doing is he update. There's this thing called tab state cache. This runs in the parent process. For message size optimizations, we don't update the whole session storage, only the values that have been changed. The cache data that we want to update to change the actual changed values per domain. Update partial storage change. Help function used for update the whole browser history. So if the key is storage change, then we say here's the data for the browser, and we say here's the storage change. So we update, I guess we apply a patch. So this is applying a patch. And then content session store, this is about history. And then on sessions, well, don't want to send all the session storage data for all the frames for every change. So if only a few values change, we send them over as a storage change event. If, however, for some reason, before we send these changes, we have to send over the entire session storage data, we just reset these changes. If, however, for some reason, before we send these changes, we have to send over the entire session storage data, we just reset these changes. Okay. Collect from event. We push in a storage change message, and we write in the value, the key and the value that changed into this message queue. All right. So let's see where we get to. Is content session storage still doing that? Content session store.js. Oh, there's a new JSM for that now. And there's something I think called storage change. Yeah. Listener, extends a handler. Moz session storage change. And in the handle event, we come up with the information. Okay, so let's start by stopping trying to run this Firefox that appears to never run. It's just eating CPU. It's just hanging. We'll not do that. Instead, we'll run this version again, one that does run. And what I'll do is I will add a debugger breakpoint in the content. Oh, no, I want to be session store.jsm, and there's a session storage change. Yeah. Handle event. Okay. Now over here, I'm gonna write session storage dot set item M Conley is being updated. All right, so we hit our breakpoint. And I guess what I want to know is what we're actually going to send up. The event has key M Conley new value is being updated. That's good. And we get all that information. We construct this changes thing. This dot changes. And then we will be sending that up to the parent. So presumably the parent also has some access to this information. If I open up the browser toolbox and I ask, hey, session store get tab state G browser selected tab. Let me just clear some of this log input. That's clear. Yeah. I get a bunch of information here. I'm gonna do JSON.parse that. And what do we have? Entries. I've got storage. And then M Conley is being updated. So the parent received that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm also going to call session storage dot clear. See what happens. So we hit this, and we're going to look at the event. The key is null, the value is null, and the URL is that. So I wonder if, all right, so we send that up to the parent, and now the parent, I'm going to run this query again, and we're going to look inside the storage object. Right, I don't think it knows how to deal with that directive. With when key is null and value is null, that should apply to everything. We should clear everything out. That's one thing. And the second thing is, how come the storage is persisting how come storage is just persisting? So one way to fix this is in content session store.j. Oh, sorry, no. Session store.jsm. Session storage. Where does that come up? He added this thing. Collect from event. Storage change. And tab state cache, update partial storage change. And this is in the update of the tab state cache. Okay, so in tab state cache, in update partial storage change, he's getting the keys of the domains. If the value is null, he's saying if the storage has that domain and it has the key, then we'll delete it. value is null, so there's a missing case here. What's happened is there's a missing case. So in tab state cache, we have a missing case. We are not handling the case where key and value are null. Only if the value is null do we then delete it. So for example, down here, if I go back over to this and I say set item, or is there a delete item or a clear item? No, there's just a set item M Conley to null. Then in the parent process, getting at that object, the storage, has M Conley set to the string of null. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Set item to null. Session storage. Remove item. M Conley. So what's it going to do now? I have a feeling it's going to send M Conley new value is null. That goes up to the parent, and so our state now should not include, the M Conley value. In live hacking, SmurfD says, hey, in stable version 48.0.2, this does not seem to be an issue. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm running a version of Mac OS that didn't exist at the time. I'm running High Sierra. Maybe. Are you running High Sierra? Are you able to run 48.02 on High Sierra? Or are you talking about the issue that we're trying to debug here does not appear to be an issue? Is that what you're saying, SmurfD? That the bug that we're looking at is not an issue. Is that correct? I'll let you report back. In the meantime, I think that solves this mystery, where we're not handling the case where both the key and the value are null. Okay, SmurfD says, yeah, the bug is not an issue. Okay, SmurfD, I have another question for you. Back then, does session storage survive a shutdown and restart of the browser? That's what I want to know. Because for some reason, we're telling the parent about it. We're holding on to the tab state cache. And then tab state cache. No, I tried to close tab and it didn't survive. It doesn't survive the update. That's interesting because why? Why wouldn't it survive? Why wouldn't it survive? So when we get the final update, do we do anything special? Update the tab's cache state. Mark the windows dirty and trigger delayed write. Update browser with the message data. I wonder if at the time of the final content session store, the final update is final. On unload, is that maybe when, is it possible that at this point storage would have been empty? What were we doing before? equals telemetry. And send and message queue send. We go through the data. So at unload time, I guess that's the question. At unload time, what happens to the session store values? Because back in the day, if at unload time the session store values are empty, that would explain why we are surviving restarts, because this data clear. Let's take a look. How do we find this out? At unload time, let's set a breakpoint inside. Not here, but send. We'll set a breakpoint here. Conditional. We'll pause when the expression is true. Options.isFinal equals true. Okay. So now let's close the tab. Or let's browse the tab away. We'll go to Reddit. That doesn't cause the breakpoint to hit. That's interesting. The other thing is, if I close the tab, did I hit my breakpoint? No. And then the debugger goes away. Maybe it'd be easier to just print debug this instead of having to like try and keep the process alive. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna storage information key and this data. Oh, storage change. What were we storing in underscore data before? Collecting was collecting from event. Reset changes. This dot changes. Collect. Then we do session storage collect. We need the entire session storage, so let's reset the pending individual change. Dot collect. Session storage listener dot collect. On page load start we collect, and on page load complete we collect. When else do we collect? When we purge domain data, we collect. Purge, we so right, we purge the data and then we collect, which should be nothing, and that should do a full storage collection. Session storage collect. Interesting problem. Now, whenever the tab goes away is when page load starts. On page load started. State start. That'll reset the event listener. Remove. Okay. Is final. Sending final message. Data. Let's see what happens now when we build that. Brain's working a little slow today. I don't know what the deal is. I think I'm a little out of practice with this live hacking business. A couple of weekends or a couple of weeks is all it took for my brain to slow down. All right, so let's go to cbc.ca. And now I'll go to reddit.com. Didn't send a final message, but if I open a new tab and then close this tab, then we send a final message. And the final message is storage. I see history change. And that's it. How was session storage.clear supposed to work? Storage.jsm. Like how are we supposed to clear the session storage? Like how's the lifetime of it supposed to work? Let's go back a bit more. Let's go further. So they broke session storage all out, and then they did an implementation overhaul. Then temporary storage. Rewrite and clean up down storage code. Down storage, rewrite. We always load items. Okay. What were they doing? And session storage.jsm. Oh man. There's a lot going on in here. There's a big patch. What happened? They got rid of a bunch of stuff. You know what I should do actually is I should take a look at some tests. Session storage. There should be some tests. Yeah, browser session storage.js. See how that works. Because I'll probably be adding stuff to it. Setting, modifying, restoring session storage data works correctly. Flush to make sure Chrome received all data. Modifying it. Duplicating, flush to ensure. Loading a new URL discards the data. So that loading a new URI should discard the data. And we have tests for that. So let's do a sanity check. Let's run these tests. And then let's see why this test's operations don't line up with reality. Okay, the tests pass. That's good, I think. Let's see what the test does. It adds a tab to this website, and then it waits for it to be loaded. We flush it. We get the state. And what does this site do? Browser session storage. Is it gets the arguments. If it's the top level frame, check to see if we're secure. We set the right scheme. Otherwise, if session storage length is 0, then we write to session storage directly the object that way. We set the title. Set for outer inner value. Okay. And we get the tab state. We make sure that the inner value and the outer value are what we expect. And we modify session storage. Modifying session store value works for both frames. Browser modified 2 at frame index 0, and we flush modified and modified 2. Duplicate the tab, and then parse the state for the new tab, make sure it was copied correctly, ensure that the content script retains restored data, it says along with the new data, modify it. Parse. In browser 2, we update the state, make sure that it was modified correctly, and then we load a new page and we flush it. And we make sure that the outer window retains its storage data, but the inner frame, the storage data was discarded. And then we load about Mozilla. So about Mozilla is, I believe, not remote. Right. So let's choose a remote page instead of let's have it load about blank. Or what's another good about page that's loaded remotely? About plugins. Yeah, about plugins. And make sure that things were discarded properly. See what happens now. So that worked. How it's doing it was with this modify session storage function. Let's see how that works. Which runs content task spawn, gets at the session storage object. For like key of keys. So it doesn't do any deletions. That's one thing. Oh. Storage area equals storage. Keys. Right, I guess we're waiting for these events to fire to say that it was written. Okay, I understand, I think. So no clear and no deletions. Only adds and changes. And we know that adds, like adding works. Oh, the lifetime of the tab. So here's, hang on a second. Let's see. I'm gonna open up Chrome for a second and see. I'm gonna get a third opinion on how this works. So we're gonna go here. I'm gonna inspect. I'm going to say session storage set item M Conley is testing this in Chrome. And then I'm going to go to Reddit. And I'll come back. And then I'm going to say session storage get item M Conley. And that survives. So it survives going back and forward. It's the lifetime of the tab. So if I were, for example, to close the browser and restart the browser, what does it do? It keeps it. And I think I understand it because the tab was restored. It was brought back to life. I think we want that. So I don't think this is a huge bug. It's like we just want it so that when the tab goes away and say a new tab opens, this one, then we want the session storage to not be set, I think. If this is not set, then I think I understand. Oh, come on, Chrome. Yeah. No. And I think that's what we're doing as well. And I think now I understand. The way that session storage works is it's designed to survive certain things like tab restoration or tab like full session restoration. We don't want those values cleared with session restoration. Session storage dot set item mconley strikes back. So we close that, and then if we unclose that, we expect it to be back again. Session storage dot get item mconley strikes back. But if I open a new tab and close this one, and I go to cbc.ca, then session store get item mconley should be null. The other thing that I think should happen, if I remember correctly, there are a couple things to check here. So let's take some notes. The good news is that we seem to be clearing in the right cases. I haven't tested clearing data on shutdown yet, but that's next. Like, session storage is bound to the lifetime of the session within a tab, including the lifetime, including things like restoration, navigation. So if I navigate forward and then back again, the session data is still there. Restoration is shutting the browser down, starting it up, and the tabs are restored, or closing the tab and restoring the tab. So there are two things to do here. First, fix the clear case and write a test. Two, maybe I'll do this first part. Hang on. Fix the clear case. Write a test for the clear case. And then over here, we are going to test the clear data on shutdown case. So let's do that next. So it looks like there's this thing inside Content Session Store where if purge domain data. When's that fired? In Site Data Manager, if we are told to remove all site data, then we go through here, we notify the observers to purge domain data, and on purge domain data, we go into here. When does the content process get purge domain data? That's what I want to know. When was this added? Whoop. I don't know if it does. I don't know if we're clearing the session storage stuff on purge domain data. And that's a problem. Purge session history. Purge history. Session file. What are the other browser purge what? Session history, local storage, session history, domain data, purge domain data. Purge local storage. We can send a message to the child to clear the local storage. Send clear all. Receive clear all. And we clear all here. Okay. So that's in purge local storage, and that gets rid of storage thread async clear all and storage db thread. Clear all in storage db thread. And DOM storage. But I think that's different from session storage. Or is it? What's the difference here? Storage DB thread. Colon, Chrome deletes cookies, schedule deletes the whole database, async clear all. Local storage, then we say clear all. DB on, insert DB thread. Then the task is a DB operation op clear all. Delete from web apps store. That's not the same thing. I'm pretty sure. Let's just double check. Key set item. Keys data set. I think this is just in memory. So that's different from DOM storage, which is, I think, completely different. Web App Store 2. Session storage. Storage manager. Change implementation. Okay. Okay. So where did we get to? I just read a lot of code. It seems like the session storage stuff is, if I'm not mistaken, a standard key value pair, data set. It's just a key value pair. Hash key and a string. Yeah, keys. And when we want to clear it, clear, session storage clear. What clears it? What's responsible for clearing this thing? Mcache. Clear storages. And what calls that? And when we observe certain things, cookies cleared, session only cleared, domain data clear, pattern. Domain data cleared, all, session only cleared. When we observe perm changed. Okay. My question is, if I have set nightly to always clear things when closed, should session storage be included? That's a good question. Type block, third-party trackers. You'd think the answer is yes, except that that's more of a like, what happened, what do you want to do with your session? Do you want to load it from last time? Session. Restore the previous session. And even if you don't do that automatically, I still think we hold on to that data. All right. I guess that's a question for some people. So, site data. Let's do it here. Keep until nightly is closed. So now I'm going to set a value. Set item mcolony strikes back. Now I'm going to quit and restart. So the session has restored, and we did clear the item on shutdown. Okay, that's good. That's important. That's what we wanted. Let's just double check that. I'm gonna strikes back again. We're gonna shut down. We're gonna start up. I actually think there's a test for this, if I remember correctly. Respects to privacy levels. Privacy level to save same day for encrypted sites. And if we forget information about a tab and when we purge domain data, purges data from the, yeah. Okay, so I feel pretty confident. Yeah, no. Okay, I feel good about this. So, yeah. Thankfully, it looks like there are already tests for this. Fix the clear case, write a test for the clear case. So let's do this in a test-driven development way. Let's see if we can do this before our episode is done. Let's add on to this test. Check that loading a new URL discards the data in browser 2. Browser 1 still around. Test that clearing the data in browser in the first tab works properly. Okay. Await. Clear session storage. Browser 2. We'll clear it. And then flush. Or we'll do it in browser 1. We flush. And then what was so storage, we should get the state back from tab 1, and then storage dot what session storage are we, like what level are we going to clear? Maybe I'll modify session storage. I'll make it so that if you don't include anything, that's considered a clear. So I can piggyback off of a pre-existing helper function. Frame index 0. Browser frame index 0. Browser 1. And then we're going to assume that the example that it does not exist, storage is undefined, has been cleared correctly. And then we'll, the first tab works properly at within the subframe, within the top level frame. So we'll do browser 1. Flush. And then we're going to say storage is session storage for key dot test has been cleared correctly is storage dot what is it, object dot keys dot length 0. Session storage data for the tab is empty. Alright, so this should fail. I expect this to fail, and let's see what happens. Whoops. Nope, shut down. Yeah, we got some failures here. Oh, browser 1's not defined. Oh, it's just called browser, not browser 1. And then it just sits there. So I consider that a failure. I guess it doesn't know how to deal with my modify session storage request to clear. So that's in here. Modify session storage options, storage data, keys. We'll get the keys, the data, storage, and then there's mod session storage changed. Is there a mod session storage cleared? Moz session storage changed, only changed. Clear the storage. Storage changed. Whoops, that sometimes happens when you go back in Search Fox. What is this event? So is this event actually going to come? So we go through the keys. If let keys equals new set storage, if keys dot size, if not keys, storage dot clear, and then we do this like add event listener thing. Saw moz session storage changed. Just some dumb logging. All right, dump clearing session storage. So, clearing session storage. Saw message storage changed. Okay, so it does fire an event when we do that. So that's good. So maybe if else let is clearing equal keys dot size equals 0, or not keys dot size, where we are is clearing, it is clearing if is clear, because keys is going to change as we operate, so we want to compute that once up here at the very beginning. If we're clearing, we'll run storage.clear. Is there any documentation I'll need to update here? No. Should I add some? Probably. Will I? I don't know. All right. So we have our failing tests. We expected undefines, and we got 2 entries when we expected 0. So that's good. We've got our failing test set up. Let's take a look at our patch. That looks right. And that looks right. So we're going to add a regression test commit here. Regression test. And now that that's failing, we are going to update tab state cache so that when the value, if change equals key, let key of object keys change domain. So we go through the domains and we go through the keys, and it's going to be, it's null. Let domain of the key. Dump. Data is JSON.stringify data, and change is JSON.stringify change. All right, let's print that out during the test. Excuse me. Let me just check my time here, make sure I'm not late for anything. Oh, no, don't mean to commit that. Oh, jeez. Ah, jeez. Uncommit. Nope, nothing. All right, HT prune the empty, change that, and now instead of committing that, I want to build it, and then I want to run it. And then we can take a look and see. what the log spew is. That'll tell us what the structure is, because I think I understand the structure, but it will help if I see it. I don't want to make guesses here. Okay, storage that was discarded. So just before the fail, changes example.com null. Null. The key is null and the value is null. See, that I think is pretty fragile, because if, you know, in theory, a website could name something null. So we're going to have to modify content session storage too to send up something different. Content session storage. Too many things open. Okay. Changes domain key. If not, this changes, and then if key then equals that value. Otherwise, we leave it empty. And now let's see what we get.
Come to you live from Mozilla. Hopefully a test that will soon pass.
All right. And the change is, and then we get the domain and then an empty object. And I think that's what we want. The empty object will be our signal. So tab state cache. Only if the key isn't defined, then .clear was called, and we send up an empty object for this domain to indicate that storage has been cleared for it. So now, instead of going through, if there are no or maybe, can you send up something else instead? Can we send up null? Maybe that's even better. Maybe that's more. If not key, it's not domain equals null. If the key is defined, then clear is called. We send it up null. Null for this domain. Else this dot changes domain key equals value. Or new value. Then over here in tab state cache, if change domain, if not change domain, then delete storage domain. Else, and then we were sent null as the change null in place of the change object. So clear was called which means we should delete session storage entirely for this domain. And hopefully this passes. Let's get a drum roll. We've not had a sound effect for a while. We've not had drum rolls. Let's do it. Come on. Come on. Yeah. 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 Nope. But that's because of some foolish errors on my part. Storage is null in what? An uncaught exception. Storage is null. Data.storage. Can't access property. Moki test of it. Oh, in our assertion, right. So our tests, I think we have to modify our test just a little bit. And maybe instead of using the empty object, we should mirror the underlying infrastructure and say null. Is storage is storage. So hold on a second. If is clearing storage data data object keys if not data keys equals an empty set and is clearing equals true. Actually, I kind of liked it when it was before with the empty object. I think it'll be okay. I know it's a little inconsistent between the test and the implementation, but that's okay, I think. And so it's complaining that on line 109, it can't access this property. And of course you can't. It's not there. Storage. Stringify. Storage, null. Almost done. Just got to figure out why this test is not passing, and then we'll fix it, and then we'll put it up for review, and then we're done. Storage is null, that's why. Oh, storage itself is null. Storage itself is null. Right. Is storage null when there's nothing in it? Because I'm pretty sure if nothing has set storage, we want it to be null. Let's double check. I don't think my website sets storage. Let's double check. In fact, I'll do this privately just in case there's, I don't want there to be anything in there. State. And then JSON parse it. And is there storage? There is not. Okay. So yeah, we want it to be null. Session storage data for the tab. Tab has been cleared correctly. So, whoop, nope. We did it! We did it! Hoyo!
Hi-oh!
Oh, yeah.
That's right!
Alright, so now we've got a little bit of a, I think we want to, is there stuff in the test that we need to change? Yeah, we just needed to change that last bit of the test. So what we're going to do is we're going to commit everything except the test change, and then we'll move the stuff over to the test change, and then we'll reorder the patches so that it's like the fix and then the test. Sika07 goes, hooray! I agree, hooray! Alright, so let's commit everything except for this. Alright, bug, what are we doing here? Bug, what's the name of the bug? 1480951. Make sure session storage.clear is respected. Or hang on. Fix session storage.clear. How do I describe this? Make session store respect session storage.clear. Mike DeBoer. And then I'm going to say commit everything except for this file, the test. All right. So we should still have this test change here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shelve it, reorder the two patches, pop it off the shelf, and then commit it. And then we'll post the patches for review and see what happens. I'm going to use the Moz Fab script, I think, to submit the two patches. I've not had a chance to Moz Fab. I don't think that's it. Moz Dash Fab? Yeah. A day ago it was updated. So I might want to update it. And you say start rev and end rev. So I'm going to reorder these. Then we'll unshelve the patch, amend that test commit with the change, then we'll post for review, and then we'll call it a day. Or we'll do a quick inspection of the patches when we post them for review as well, just to make sure that we like them. So now we do Moz. Oh, wait. Unshelve and amend. Oh, yeah. I do like fixing bugs. That was a bit of a struggle. I spent most of the episode, I think, just kind of wrapping my head around how session storage worked. I mean, we found the problem pretty early on, in this tab state cache thing, and the fact that, it's this like diffing thing, and it didn't handle the case where the key and the value were null. We found that pretty early on. The majority of the episode, I think, was spent just trying to understand the lifetimes of session storage, making sure that I fully understood, or I felt comfortable with it. And now I think I feel comfortable with it. All right, so we've got our 2 patches here, and I'm going to use Moz Fab to submit them. But first, I'm going to update my Moz Fab. Is that what it's called? Mozilla Conduit Review. Where could it be? I checked it out somewhere. Which Moz Fab? Oh, there's an underscore tools. Oh, it's in my home directory. Wow. I don't make things easy for myself. All right, so I don't know what sorts of updates they made. We're about to find out. So the 2 commits we want to submit are this one and this one. So we'll do Moz Fab submit that and then that. What? No such file or directory. Python 2. Python 2. When? Blame. Explicitly use Python 2. Well, I guess what I'll do is I'll just say like Python tools Moz Fab submit this that. Now it does its thing. Whatever that thing is. Who knows what it's going to do? Beep, 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 beep. This part's a little bit slow. Okay, yeah, I want to submit to Fabricator for sure. Yes, please. Yes. Why? So it's creating new revision. And it's doing all the like wiring up. This part takes a little while. I don't know where the bottleneck is. I have a feeling that it's doing like local Mercurial updates, and Mercurial is the long pull. Boom, 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 boom. I just want to get this up for review so that we can look at it. In the meantime, is there other? Okay, so it created one of them. We can look at that right away. So what we're doing is, if the key isn't defined, then clear was called, and we send up null for this domain to indicate that storage has been cleared for it. So if not key, then we say, hey, you're null. Otherwise, we set the value. And if there's we were set null in place of the change object, which means we should delete session storage entirely for this domain. Okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. Or it makes a bit of sense. And now, just trying to get this part submitted. This is going to take a little while. There's your mercurial rebase thing happening. So that's now up for review. It needs review. And it's creating a new revision for the test. I feel pretty confident about this patch. I think it makes sense. I probably could do with, I don't know, maybe the commit messages could have been a little more fleshed out, but it's creating the new revision. Don't see it yet in the... Oh man, come on. Why am I waiting?
Hey, what happened? I can't do my work.
Here we go. This one, yeah, just modifies the tests. Great. Okay, I think that's it. Now what I'm gonna do is go back to the agenda here. I'm gonna write, so fix the clear case, write test for the clear case, post for review, check. I'm going to mark as blocked on review. And then I go back to my agenda for today. Hey, we fixed it. All right. Posted a patch for review. We don't get too many of those. We don't get too many episodes like that where, like, start to finish, we figure out a bug. So that was nice. That was a tasty one. Hey, we're getting close to episode 150. We're at 148. Next episode will be 149. The one after that is episode 150. Do you have any ideas for what I should do for episode 150? I've gotten some ideas already. Some people suggested a bunch of different things, maybe an AMA. Someone said I should just like do a normal episode. One person suggested that I eat something really spicy while I'm working on bugs, and then you can see me like deal with that. Maybe a bucket of spicy wings. They didn't really specify. So yeah, I could do a stunt. Let me know. There's a rate this episode link here in the agenda. It's in all those places I mentioned earlier. I'll drop a link again in the Twitch chat to rate the episode. And let me know what you think. And let me know what I should do for episode 150, because I'm still mulling it over. I'm not going to like do votes or anything, but give me some feedback. Who knows? Maybe I'll eat a bucket of spicy chicken. All right, so let us call it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching episode 148. I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.